It's the 1960s in England, and there's a group of nuns just casually taking a smoke. Seems a bit unexpected, doesn't it? British hurdler Percy Hodge is demonstrating the perfect obstacle jump while carrying a bottle and a glass on a tray. Percy Hodge became an Olympic champion in the 3,000-meter hurdles in 1920. There's a drawing of a mental institution in the year 1900. It shows a hallway with a man in a long coat and a nurse walking. The door on the left is open. There's another door at the end of the hall. It looks like a couple is having a great time, perched up on a cannon. You can just picture them back in the 1950s, all smiles and maybe dreaming of adventure. She's jumping rope. No safety net. Just her, the sky, and a whole lot of courage. This was way back in 1945, over in Michigan. The crowd celebrates the end of World War II, 20 minutes after Japan's surrender, in Florida in 1945. Thathlo Harjo. Born in 1791, he fought in two Seminole Wars, joined the 1st Regiment in 1861. He saw men fight with muskets and people driving automobiles. He died in 1904 at 113 years old. The ornate skeletons of Rome's Capuchin crypt. This crypt contains the remains of 4,000 different individuals. This photo was taken around 1900. Tokyo in the 1920s. Nagasaki, 20 minutes after the atomic bombing in 1945. Wow. Amazing behind-the-scenes photos of Julie Andrews from the making of Mary Poppins, 1964. It's May of 1941. Mrs. E. E. Botner is wringing laundry. This is in Malheur County, Oregon. There's a group of kids gathered together in Massachusetts in 1904. There's an American Bantam that was used for ferry service over the Pudding River in Oregon, 1932. There's this amazing woman, Camberly Kate, and her love for stray dogs. She lived in England, and she just couldn't say no to any of them. Over the course of her life, she looked after more than 600 dogs. It's a truly remarkable story. This all started back in 1962, the Mummers Parade in Philadelphia, 1909. Isn't it interesting that we meet some of the best friends we ever have within the first years of our lives? Paris, 1952. In Paris, France, the head of the Statue of Liberty is on display. It's really something to behold, showcasing its immense size before it was shipped across the ocean. This was all happening back in 1883. At the hour of midnight. Men and boys are swarming over the wreckage of a train in Buckeye Park in Lancaster, Ohio in 1896. In the mid-1950s, Italian shoemakers were selling defense shoes. They came complete with spurs on the toes and heels to kick away offensive sex pests, especially in Rome. The year is 1961, and Hughes Aircraft Electronic Labs was set to revolutionize the world with Mobot, the magnificent mobile robot. It's 1898 and we're inside a London pub. The water's up high in St. Mark's Square, Venice, around 1910. A boy and a girl are sitting on a bench. They are holding hands. The girl is wearing a red dress. The boy is wearing a blue shirt. They are both smiling. Progressive high school girls learn the finer points of auto mechanics in 1927 USA. Three female students are walking in the city of Kabul, Afghanistan in 1972. Drinking a glass of Belgian beer, 1971. All right, so we've got boys sidewalk sledding on a steep San Francisco Hill Street from 1952. Marie Hogue is posing with an unknown male in the studio. The photo was taken by Berg and Hogue around 1895 to 1903. Walt Disney when he was 29? Belle Starr in the 1880s? Cathedral of Christ the Savior, near Kharkov in the Russian Empire, which is modern-day Kharkiv, Ukraine. It was pictured in 1894. It was destroyed during the Second World War. That's a rare photo of a remote control from the 1970s. Thomas Edison, who was 30 years old, around 1878. The Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, was constructed between 1922 and 1931. There were still Civil War veterans alive during Franklin D. Roosevelt's administration. In 1938, Roosevelt met with them at a ceremony commemorating the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Gettysburg. They met in 1978. They were just friends. They remained friends for over 50 years. The sky was just bursting with life. Thousands of parachutes billowing out like giant white flowers dotted the blue. Some were carrying equipment, supplies for the fight ahead. Others held men, brave soldiers ready to jump. They'd come from C-47 carrier planes, soaring above southern France, somewhere between Nice and Marseille. It was 1944, and the air was thick with the promise of freedom. two members of the Bertram Mills Circus are walking head-to-head at Hammersmith Broadway in London, 1953. Black Cat Hug, 1963. There's a group of activists picketing outside a segregated swimming pool in Ohio during the 1960s. There was an outdoor alligator farm in California in the 1920s. The Cherolin Horse Car Line is the only gravity car line in the world. Denver, 1890. Tina Turner on the Eiffel Tower, 1989. Tragedy by the sea. Their 19-month-old son was playing in the sand. Somehow, he was swept away by the tide. The little boy is gone. There is nothing anyone can do. April 2nd, 1954. Myeongdong, in central Seoul in 1950. The district is now an international shopping hub. South Korea has built one of the richest economies in the world from the ruins of the war. Okay, here we go. It's a picture of CBS employee Barry Manilow in the file room from 1965. Construction workers erected the Atomium in Brussels for the World's Fair. It was 1958, and the fair was a huge event. A group of C-47 transport planes are flying over Normandy. This was on D-Day in June of 1944. Even though histories of World War II often focus on Europe, the war going on in the Pacific Theater was just as devastating. Here, a group of emaciated Australians drink tea after their release from a Japanese camp in September 1945. Acrobat Luisita Lears, taken around 1929. Franklin Delano Roosevelt is using help to get out of his car. It's one of the few photos that show his paralytic illness. The date is the 24th of September, 1932. Lenin and Stalin are at Gorky, just outside of Moscow. It's September 1922. A mother repairs the family car while her husband is away at war, 1944. Abraham Lincoln's second inauguration at the Capitol in Washington, 1865. Early December, 1952. Tippi Hedren and her tiger in 1982. There's a strange guy wearing a t-shirt. This was in Canada, 1917. Judy Garland's daughters, Liza Minnelli and Lorna Luft, are watching the very first television showing of The Wizard of Oz in 1956. Woodrow Wilson, Warren G. Harding, and Calvin Coolidge. The BMW Isetta microcar, Germany, 1955. The Washington Monument is an obelisk on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. It was built to commemorate George Washington, the first president of the United States. Construction began in 1848, but was halted from 1854 to 1877. It was completed in 1884 and opened to the public in 1888. It is constructed of marble, granite, and bluestone gneiss. The monument is over 555 feet tall. Hope and Chaos, that's the title. It details a time of great change. It begins with a group of people. They are standing in front of a large building. The building appears to be a government structure, maybe a capitol. The atmosphere seems tense with signs of protest. Next, there's a close-up. The face of a young woman is visible. She's wearing a determined expression. A single tear rolls down her cheek. In the background, there are figures clashing, perhaps in a struggle. Now we see the aftermath. The crowd is dispersed. Rubble litters the ground. A lone figure is walking away. Their silhouette is against a backdrop of destruction. The final image is of a dove. It is flying, seemingly escaping the chaos below. The sun is setting, casting a warm glow. It could symbolize peace. They're playing Pharaoh in 1895. The year was 1912, and the description is of Welsh coal miners. Young oyster shuckers in South Carolina, 1912. Josie, who was 6 years old, Bertha, also 6 years old, and Sophie, who was 10 years old, started working at 4 in the morning. There are 2 children in the picture, a boy and a girl playing outside. The boy is riding a bright red tricycle. The girl is running and laughing. The background features green grass, several trees, and a small white dog. New York Times Radio Room, New York, 1942. Sammy Davis Jr. visiting Elvis Presley backstage at the Showroom International Hotel in Las Vegas, 1970. Ford factory workers are on a bearing assembly line in Chicago, 1924. A group of children and a dog. It was around 1955. The photo department of the New York Times in New York in September of 1942. Marines are unloading Japanese prisoners of war from a submarine that's returned from war patrol in 1945. A tourist is using a candid camera in Taos, New Mexico in 1940. A Portuguese shepherd, 1900. At the White House, President Truman announces Japan's surrender, August 14, 1945. Elizabeth Taylor in the 1956 film Giant. On Father's Day, kindergarten children were asked to draw portraits of their dads from memory. Then they compared the drawings to the original. This was for Life magazine USA in 1949. There's a 12-inch watch inside an oak case. They gave these to the Great Western Railway around 1930.